Our tastes in film may seem destructive, but this is a productive dialogue. Damn it, your mother ate my dog.
Welcome to another episode of Your Mother Ate My Dog, the podcast. This is episode 62. Episode 62, Your Mother Ate My Dog, the podcast. Today, we are doing a fun movie with two of our favorite people in it, which we'll get to in a bit. But it is the second annual Jesse's birthday episode. So happy birthday, Jesse.
Thank you.
This day is for you. So this is the second birthday episode we've done for you. Do you remember, although I don't know if we talked about it, but I looked up what episode came out around your birthday. So this is the second one. Do you remember what episode, what movie we did for your birthday? Of course you don't.
Of course I do. Okay.
It was a Jesse movie. If that makes...
You don't need to tell me. I know exactly what movie it is. It's the good old, just racking my brain here because I know what it is. I just am creating suspense. It's obviously Green Lantern.
You think episode 3, Green Lantern, came out in June of 2022, even though we started the podcast in January?
Yes.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh.
Episode 21, Howl's Moving Castle. 41 episodes later, here we are doing your birthday.
Doing my birthday.
How was your birthday?
It was pretty good. I didn't really get up to too much. My main birthday night, if you want to call it that, like my birthday celebration, I'm considering that, is going to be happening tomorrow. Going out to a movie and dinner. Favorite dinner place and a movie I've been looking forward to that I won't be watching with you.
And again, I just wanted to apologize for not being able to make it. Thursday nights are normally pretty busy for me.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, wait. I wasn't invited.
No, you were not.
But this conflict that we're having, I'm gonna be real with you. I manufactured it because the movie we watched is quite a lot like that. It's man versus man, face versus face, which
off versus off.
Yeah, they do. Not to speak about the movie, but the words "face off" is said in this movie.
It is.
Nicolas Cage being like, I want to take his face off.
Face off. Face off.
Great film. I did just realize that I didn't pick a movie for next week.
Great.
I do have a list. So a few days ago, I built a list. I was on Netflix. So I'm like, I'm going to pick a bunch of movies off of Netflix that I want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have a list of 8 movies.
Oh, okay.
But
we have 55 minutes to think about it.
I did think of a movie tonight that I didn't put on the list. Now I don't remember it, but that's okay. We have tons of time. So tonight, what did you have for dinner?
For dinner, I didn't really eat dinner. I kind of ate like a really late lunch. But if I were to say what my late lunch was, it was a crostini, a pepperoni crostini.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking.
Like frozen?
Yeah.
It's disgusting. We went to Costco, and I had 2 Costco hot dogs.
Wow. Yeah, that is much better.
Well, they're very filling.
They're very filling and very cheap. I did have one of those recently.
$3 for 2 hot dogs.
Those hot dogs, one hot dog, I'm surprised you ate 2, to be honest.
Plus fries.
My word. You know what I like about it? I haven't been to Costco prior to the most recent time in like years. But now you can like go and order your food. You don't even have to talk to anyone. It's just a little screen. And your order just comes right up. And there's self-checkout lines for when you buy your groceries. It's a magical thing.
Yeah, it's crazy because we did go through this self-checkout and I did do the screen thing. So I didn't have to talk to anybody. But when we did self-checkout, there was somebody there being like, oh, let me scan your stuff for you. Like, why am I doing self-checkout then? You're just going to scan all my stuff for me.
The whole reason I go through the self-checkout is because I don't want to interact with people.
Yeah. So anyways, we went to Costco kind of on a whim tonight and we spent $300.
Oh, well, I mean, that'll happen.
Yes, that'll happen. I think, yes, I have picked my movie for next week, but that's for 50 minutes from now.
Okay, yeah. Keep that in the back of your noggin.
All right. Well, I told you. Okay, so I watched Jury Duty. Oh, just closing the door. We watched a whole series called Jury Duty. That was cool. I guess I didn't say that on the podcast, but have you watched anything recently? Just going through all the hits here.
Right. Oh, I can't remember if I watched this and talked about it the last episode. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably did. I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Did I talk about that last time?
Yeah, it was mentioned.
Oh, okay. Then I have not seen anything since that. Literally nothing.
You just kind of go home, eat your tostada or whatever you said, and then go to bed and then do it all again.
Yeah, have a tostada. I stare at the wall for 4 to 5 hours and go to bed.
I bought a chocolate bar tonight, or I guess today during work. Caramel.
I bought a zoo. Me and Brad Pitt. Didn't go well.
Mark Wahlberg's in that movie. Mark Wahlberg is he is in one of the movies that I was thinking about doing, but it's not gonna happen. I bought a caramel bar. I love caramels, which made me think I should ask Jesse what his favorite chocolate bar is. If you were at a grocery store, you're like, I need a chocolate bar, and all of the chocolate bar options were there, which one would you be choosing?
Well, it's funnily enough, Greg asked me this very question not but a few days ago. And my answer to him was between two, a Mars bar, and the other was a caramel.
Wow. We were so similar. What was his answer?
Well, huh?
I mean, I assumed he was like, oh, I would do this.
I don't think he told me.
It was a one-sided conversation.
And I wasn't interested in asking him. It's like, I don't give a crap. So just ask me and get out of the locker room so I can enjoy my break. You know what I mean?
You guys have a locker room?
We do have a locker room. It has one chair, which I sit in for my breaks, even though we have a break room. Because again, the whole human interaction thing, I'd rather just kind of sit on my own.
Are you guys still wearing masks at work?
No, but we were up until not that long ago. Like 3 months ago, maybe, or so.
That's surprising for a hospital environment.
It is. There's still a few areas in the hospital you have to wear it. But for the most part, you do not have to wear a mask in the hospital anymore.
Unless, I assume, you're like around patients.
Yeah, I think for like if you go into patients' rooms and they have certain restrictions or certain ailments that make them fairly susceptible or something, I think you probably have to wear a mask. But at my job, you don't go into the patients' rooms, so
you shouldn't.
You shouldn't anyway. We do have a couple of people who go and fill the areas in like the OR. So when you go to the operating room and you're in like the clean part of the operating room, then I think you need to mask up because that's where like they do the surgeries and stuff. You get pretty close to the people getting surgeries. You don't get in the same room, but it's close.
Right, but that's not COVID related. That's just how it is.
Yes, it's not COVID related. That is just like
S-
patient related.
So you've seen people getting surgeries.
Yes.
What's the grossest thing you've ever seen in an operating room?
Well, so basically, you are in behind the operating rooms, and you're filling, the gloves and sterile water and stuff like that. And then there's windows into the operating rooms, so you're not like forced to look, but sometimes you happen to see. It's only happened, you know, half a dozen times that I've seen something. And one time I looked over and there was a guy's leg completely like filleted open. He was getting, some sort of surgery done. That was the most jarring thing I saw.
That's disgusting. Do you know what?
Yeah,
Something that I saw recently that was kind of disgusting.
yourselves in the mirror.
There was a guy who had surgery on his face. They cut off somebody's face and put on a new face, um, and it transformed his whole body. And he looked exactly like the person that they cut the face off of.
And
Put the face
the
face
face
back
that they
on.
took, the guy was in a coma, and they thought, well, he's not waking up. And then he did, and just to enact some sort of revenge, he put on the face that first guy took off.
So he wasn't dead, but they didn't have anybody watching him. He was not handcuffed to the bed.
No,
He could literally just wake up and leave whenever he wanted to. We're talking about Face Off today, the 1997 American science fiction action thriller film starring John Travolta, Nicolas Cage, directed by John Woo. Wikipedia says that this is considered one of John Woo's best films. Would you agree with that?
I've only seen one other of John Woo's films, and it was a steaming pile of trash.
So
And,
yes,
and so, yes, I would say that.
this is a Academy Award nominated film. Sound effects editing. They didn't win.
Right.
Let's see what else Mr. Woo's doing. It's a lot of hard boiled, right? We talked about that. It's a lot of he did a lot of movies in his native China.
Mm-hmm.
Still alive. But yeah, he did Mission Impossible 2, which you hated.
Yeah.
Like John Woo is a name like everybody recognizes, but the movies he's done is a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah, he hasn't done that many. A lot of the things that I dislike about Mission Impossible 2 do show up in this film as well. It's just like kind of like a lot of slow-mo and a lot of like over the topness that's like just is so over the top it's a little cheesy,
Yeah, and there was a lot of that in Face Off for sure.
Yes, indeed. I'll ask you a quick question. When people are doing stunts in film and they need to like say jump off a large building, or they get shot with a shotgun blast and they get sent back 10 feet.
Or they walk into like one of those air machines.
Yeah,
and
one
they
of
get
those.
flown back into a fence.
Yeah, one of those air machines. How do they do that? What's like the practical way that they create that effect? Do they use like some sort of wiring system?
I would assume it's wiring, and then they fall into a big mat.
Right. And then when you take those shots and you put them to film, what do you usually do? Do you like sort of make it so you can't see the wires?
Could you see wires?
Oh, so many times.
I was gonna say like the stunt people looked nothing like the two of them,
Right.
but I don't recall seeing any wires. But that's interesting.
To be fair, there was probably 800 scenes where there was wires used. There was just so many action scenes that surely they were meant to miss one or two, which they certainly did. More
2
so,
hours and
even.
18 minutes.
Yeah, 2 hours and 18
Long movie.
minutes. It felt
But
every minute. I felt every minute of that. Let me tell you.
I'm going to tell you that I didn't hate this movie. This
Right,
movie was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it is it's a pretty infamous movie. Everybody knows Face Off.
right.
Um, so I pulled a Jesse and I went in with no expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that it's going to be a little, a little cheesy, a little actiony. But I didn't. I thought it was much better than I was kind of counting it to be.
Right. Yeah. I think before I went to the movie store and rented this movie, my expectations were pretty low. I had talked to a few people about it. Little Ben being one of them. He said this movie, he hated it. He said it sucked. I said, okay, well, that's good to know. And then I went and picked up the movie from the video store, and the guy goes, well, have you seen this movie before? I said, no. I said, oh, you're in for a treat. This movie is amazing. And so now he's freaking runs a movie store. He ought to know.
Yeah, but to be fair, it's a failing movie store.
That is true. He is going out of business, so maybe he has no idea what he's talking about. So then I got kind of like, okay, so maybe it's really good. Maybe it's really bad. I had a feeling it was going to be like how it is, kind of like letting Nick Cage especially just kind of do his thing. Lots of action. That is essentially what happened.
I liked. Well, okay, I didn't. This was Nicolas Cage's best film. I didn't like him the best, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I thought his over the topness was fun.
Yes.
It was kind of watered down a little bit once he was John Travolta, because obviously John Travolta had, well, the way they were trying to play it was, John Travolta in Nicolas Cage's body, so he had to learn how to act.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't hate the movie. I was not Team Ben on this one for sure.
I did. It was a bit of a shame that Nicolas Cage as Castor Troy. I wish we had more of that, because I thought that was the best acting part of the movie. So over the top, but very entertaining.
John Travolta as a bad guy doesn't do it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, he's okay in. He's good in Pulp Fiction.
If he's not the bad guy.
Well, he's kind of the bad guy. Depends how you look at it, I guess. Good guy, bad guy. I don't know. I guess maybe he is the good guy. He's kind of in the middle, I would say. But yes, I mean, clearly not as good of a performance as Pulp Fiction as he was in this film.
We saw a familiar face. Well, we saw a few familiar faces in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
One being the doctor who switched the faces around. Colm Feore. We know him from Umbrella Academy, even though you hated the movie, but he was in something we watched. Oh, he was in Chronicles of Riddick. That's right.
Of course. And also Danny Masterson.
Yes, Danny Masterson in a brief role as a rapist. So that's cool. Well, attempted rapist.
Right.
He tried, didn't work. John Carroll Lynch. He was the main prison guard. You may know him from he's in Fargo. But his big role, he was in the Drew Carey show or something.
Oh, was he? Oh yeah, he was, I think.
Drew Carey's brother.
He's in a lot of things. He's one of those actors who's in a lot of different things.
Yeah, he's in a lot of things. The acting in this was fine. It's middle of the road acting. It's the two main guys, your John Travoltas and your Nicolas Cages, I don't think did enough to save the acting score.
Right.
It was a fine. It's not going to look good,
Mm-hmm.
but the action was fun.
I mean, I had a lot of fun with the action for a while. It was so over the top and so outlandish. But then it did the thing like as I'm thinking of like when I saw Lord of the Rings for the first time in theaters, where or actually Return of the King for the first time in theaters, where there's like 4 times where you're sure the movie's going to end and it doesn't. I think we had the same experience with Con Air, where it's like, okay, surely this is the end of the action. It's like, oh no, they hopped off the plane and they're on motorcycles now and they're driving around. I think this movie suffered from that a little. I was feeling the 2 hours and 16 minutes. I was like, okay, I think I'm done with the action.
A problem I had was that it was a long movie, but they started off so strong with like Nicolas Cage in a church and like doing all that. It was a pretty iconic scene. Him
Mm-hmm.
in a church
Mm-hmm.
singing, and then it just kind of fell off.
Yeah.
Like there was none of that anymore. It was just kind of.
Well, that's just it. I mean, that's almost all we get of Nick Cage as Castor Troy, and then it becomes switched around, and it's not as good.
Another problem I had was that John Travolta's character. I don't know if I've ever seen a character named Sean, like a movie. I mean, I've never seen one named Castor, but Sean is an interesting choice. But he agrees to this crazy face swap surgery. It's
Right.
1997.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's way ahead of its time. But just to be thrown in prison and just to be miserable in prison. So why did he agree to do that? Because he thinks Castor's dead anyways.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing was to get his brother to confess where the bomb was.
Right. So I mean that's a risk. But okay.
I mean, he did say where the bomb was very quickly, but then of course the real Castor Troy had come back.
If I was to rewrite this movie today, I would probably make the bomb the focal point of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like that should have been the climax. That shouldn't have been like 35 minutes into the movie. Oh, the bomb's done.
Yeah, that might have been part of what made the movie feel longer too, because it's like, oh, okay, the plot is done now. I guess it's like, no, that was just like a weird side thing. You gotta strap yourself in. There's plenty more to go. This movie had a lot of like, okay, so it's not a masterpiece. I did like it, but it had a trait to it that some bad movies have, but bad movies that are so bad they're good, where like shit happens on the screen and it's so outlandish that it just makes you like turn to whoever you're watching it and like just imitate what they just did or say what they just said because it's so just wild. I'm thinking of a lot of like, when they were doing the face touching thing. It's just like got so awkward. It was like, okay, I've had enough of that.
When he would do that to like all of his children.
Yes, it's like kind of like
his wife
touch their face. It was very strange.
It's cool that they just okay. I have a few things that also bug me about this movie. The one that happened at the end when, Castor Troy died very easily after all that. But then all of a sudden, which we saw this from a mile away, but John Travolta steals Castor Troy's son.
Right.
And then he just it's like, oh, go show your new brother his room, but doesn't like ask his wife.
Yeah. Mackenzie said the exact same thing. It's like, oh, okay, just Well, he does kind. Well, he does, no, he doesn't really
He
ask.
does after the fact, like, is it okay? And then she's like, yeah, I guess. I mean, he's already
I mean, he's already here.
picking his room.
Yeah.
And then another thing that kind of bugged me, and this is just like something that I would do in this situation, but so we have this face swap thing, but a lot of the conflict in the movie is John Travolta in Nicolas Cage trying to convince like his friends that he's John Travolta. So why couldn't he just have been like to his wife, like, hey, I'm doing this thing. So like if I show up as myself, you know something's wrong. Or if I come to you looking like the guy who killed our son, then that's me. Believe me, because that would have stopped so much conflict, and probably saved a lot of lives.
Yeah, it was weird that they're like, okay, we need to do this mission, but you can't tell anybody, not even your wife. It's like, why can't you? Why?
It's like somebody besides the guy who did it should have known,
Right.
but they took care of him pretty quickly. So
They took care of him and like the two people that like were watching.
yeah, so pretty dumb for a guy really high up in the FBI or whatever.
This is sounding like you don't like the movie very much.
There's a lot of problems with the movie, for sure. But for what it was, an iconic action movie starring two iconic actors, it was fine. I have some actor combos that were considered for this movie,
Oh,
and I want you to tell me if you'd watch it.
okay.
Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger face
No,
off.
no.
Michael Douglas and Harrison Ford.
What the fuck?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's a maybe.
Alec Baldwin and Bruce Willis.
Maybe, but if Bruce Willis could evoke his what's that movie we watched him with? What's that movie?
Like Death Becomes Her?
Yeah, if you get Death Becomes Her, Bruce Willis, I would say yes.
And a red flag was that Johnny Depp wanted to play the role of Sean Archer, played by John Travolta, but he passed after reading the script. Johnny Depp. 1997 Johnny Depp.
That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a good pick by you, for sure.
It was different. I haven't seen a movie like this before. Interesting concept.
I just read that this is 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yep. And like 7.3 on IMDb.
I mean, 1997 was a different time. This has been labeled as part of the holy trinity of Nicolas Cage films, along with Con Air and The Rock. So we've watched Con Air and now Face Off. We just have to watch The Rock.
Right.
Which I haven't seen. Didn't know he was even in it. I always thought that was a Sean Connery movie.
Well, there you go. Now you know.
It won't be next week.
Okay. Fair enough. We've done a lot of Nick. This is what, our third Nick Cage movie?
At least, yeah. More than that, probably. But
oh, wait.
We'll probably take a little break from Nicolas Cage.
Maybe it's our fourth. I don't know.
I think we did this last time. Ghost Rider. One.
Ghost Rider, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Con Air, and Face Off. Yeah, fourth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Howl's Moving Castle. Okay, well.
And Howl's Moving Castle, of course.
Anything else you want to... Anything else you have for this movie? Face Off?
No, I don't think so.
The two of them spent 2 weeks getting to know each other before filming.
Oh, yeah, so they could, like, mimic how their little quirks, their facial expressions and such.
The crew shot on Nicolas Cage's birthday. John Woo let Cage get emotionally charged up for a scene, then surprised him with a birthday cake. Afterwards, Cage asked Woo not to do that again.
Oh,
Funny
okay.
fact is that Nicolas Cage's birthday is my birthday.
Oh, shit. That is a fun fact.
Speaking of birthdays, happy birthday again to the birthday episode 62, Face Off.
I can't wait for 7 more episodes from now.
Oh, I guess that's a Josh movie.
You better make it
I think-
appropriate.
I think episode 6, well, that should have been like an Idle Hands or a Two Where's My Car, but
Mm-hmm.
I think 69 will happen after you come back from wherever you're going.
Somewhat. Yes, indeed.
Okay, well, yeah, good talk.
Great talk. Do you want to get on to our scores?
Sure, just one last note. Originally, Nicolas Cage turned down the role of Castor Troy, citing a lack of interest in playing a villain. However, once he was told that he would actually be playing the hero for the majority of the film, he quickly signed on. Wow.
Wow, I was right.
Okay, yeah, let's get to our scores. Hard to say where we're going to go with this one. Danny Masterson, his name was Carl in the movie. Interesting. Okay. You start with our acting scores, please.
Okay, I'd be happy to. I wouldn't say the acting was particularly good in this movie. I liked Nicolas Cage's performance, but it was over the top, and I wouldn't say it was what you would consider classically good acting. I don't know. It was very operatic, very over the top, and I kind of liked it. John Travolta, not so much. His performance was like kind of muddled and sort of just meh. And then the surrounding characters overall not fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little hard to pin down the acting, given I feel like they were over the top on purpose. I don't know. I think for acting, I'd give it a 5. Nothing too special.
Yeah, I'm going to give acting a 4.5 myself because everybody was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Nicolas Cage was Nicolas Cage, and John Travolta was John Travolta.
Right.
So those two just couldn't save the acting score. Yeah, just not great, but you don't watch this movie for the acting. So that's not to say this wasn't a good movie, score-wise. Just acting was bad. 4.5.
Yeah.
Ending. I'll do ending first.
Okay.
As I said before, I thought the climax of the movie. Actually, I haven't said this, but it was a little bit of a letdown. Just the fact that he being Castor Troy died, I thought pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
John Travolta just started cutting off his face for some reason. And then it was just really awkward with here's our new son to replace the one that died 5 years ago. They do the face transplant surgery, and it goes perfectly fine. He looks perfectly good. I was happy the movie was over. It's a long movie.
Yeah.
But it was actiony, but I don't know. It was kind of let down, so I gave it a 5.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, the ending was like, as we kind of said, it was a little predictable with like the kid. It's like, oh, okay, see that coming because he saw his son in him, and yeah, I felt like by the end of it, I was just kind of hoping the movie was going to be done because it just kept dragging on, and like I said, the problem like with Con Air, just the action just wasn't stopping. It's like, okay, you should know when to call it. I think it should have been called a little while ago. And then it finally did end, and yeah, it was a little unsatisfying. I think for ending, I'd give it a 4. Nothing too special. A little bit of a letdown.
Okay, I think you may give this movie a weaker score than me, so why don't you go first?
Okay. Yeah, it was fun seeing Nick Cage do his thing, especially at the beginning of the film, and then his performance it changed in a way maybe I didn't like as much, and yeah, overall the acting was not good. The action, while quite entertaining, lots of explosions and such, just a little also over the top, and it just kind of got kind of old. I just felt like I was seeing the same thing over and over, and like a lot, like the whole trope of he's shooting his gun and he's shooting back and they just keep missing again and again and again, and now they're in a boat missing each other with guns, and now they're in a plane missing each other with guns. It just got just to be a little much for me. Overall, I mean, there was some fun moments, some quotable moments. I'd give it a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. That's the second worst movie of the year for you.
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers, the only worst movie. Okay, yes, it was a fun movie for what it was. This movie did pretty good at the box office. It had an $80 million budget, which it used, I would assume, mostly on the 2 actors and all the explosions.
Yeah.
It was not a boring movie. The Man Who Wasn't There we talked about last week, we used the word boring a lot. This was not a boring movie. It was long, but it had action followed by, things that moved the plot along, and then more action. And then the acting was bad, and the ending was not very good, and there was a lot of plot holes and things that made you question the writing of the movie. But I didn't hate the movie. I thought it was a strong 90s action film, and it was a cool idea, I guess. Face swapping. I mean,
Yeah.
not practical. I didn't give it a 4, but I did give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, Face Off.
Had I been in a different mindset, I might have given it a higher score. I mean, I did really like Nick Cage. Just couldn't save it enough for me.
Yeah, that's fair. The next movie we're going to do doesn't have Nicolas Cage or John Travolta in it, but it does have other actors.
Does it have someone that's been in a movie we've watched?
Probably. I will tell you that it is an Academy Award winning Best Picture film.
Oh, odds are I've seen it.
It's on Netflix. Oh, maybe I should have asked if you've seen it.
I've seen like every Oscar-winning movie from the last like 50 years.
But have you seen the movie Crash recently?
Not recently, no. That's a movie right there.
Would you not want to watch Crash?
I'd watch Crash again.
I mean, it's on Netflix. It has Ludacris in it. It has Brendan Fraser from The Whale. I wouldn't recommend The Whale. It's a sad film.
Right.
Don Cheadle, Sandra Bullock, Matt Dillon, Tony Danza.
So I take it you haven't seen this movie.
I have seen this movie back in 2004 that came out. I remember nothing about it. I just remember that it is controversial because it's like the worst Best Picture winning film of all time.
Right.
Jack McGee's in it. We may know Jack McGee recently. He was in... The Man Who Wasn't There.
Jack
There you go.
McGee.
I don't know. He played a private investigator in the
Oh,
Meadows
okay.
movie.
I know who Jack McGee. Now that I see Jack McGee, I go, oh yes, Jack McGee. So that's the movie you want to pick?
Yes, I do want to pick Crash
Okay.
because this is a movie that I think about often, but I haven't seen in, I don't know, 15 to 17 years.
That's cool with
Or
me. I'll
more
watch
than
it.
that.
I'll watch it again.
But I do have some other movies in mind on my list. Probably, and I would assume you haven't seen any of these movies, but I think Crash is a good 60, 63 or whatever. Crash,
All right.
2004. Netflix. You don't have to leave the house.
I love that.
Actually, I should double check that. Yeah. So cool. Good talk. Crash. Yep, it's on Netflix. Let's just quickly see what I got on. I'm gonna guess. If I had to guess the Rotten Tomatoes score, it's gonna be in the 40s.
No, I think it's better than that.
Apparently, 74. You look up Crash on Google, and there's just a bunch of fiery explosions in the news.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't realize you want the movie.
There's a 1996 film called Crash as well, and it says there's a question: why was Crash in 1996 controversial? The answer is the film was controversial, as was the book, because of its vivid depictions of graphic sexual acts instigated by violence.
Oh,
At the Cannes Film Festival, a screening provoked boos and angry bolts by upset viewers.
well done.
Well, then, indeed, have you heard about this this submersible that got lost trying to find the Titanic?
I have.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
Billionaires.
Yeah, I don't think people are holding out hope at this point, right?
They have, I don't know, 12 more hours of air left.
Right.
As of recording. When this is out, they could be dead. So, well, that killed the mood. Okay. Would you like to do the box office game?
We can if you'd like. We got 12 minutes we need to fill.
Well, okay. I'll give you the date, and you tell me if you think this is doable or not. May 13th, 2022.
Oh, probably.
Do you remember last year?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll start off hot just to get you some confidence.
Okay.
The number one movie of the week, May 13th, 2022, was a Walt Disney movie. In its second week, it had already made $300 million.
Okay. So obviously a big series. Great sentence.
So there was no... Okay, Marvel movies. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. 2022. Did anything come out last year? Spider-Man. Would Spider-Man be Disney?
Yeah. I don't think a Spider-Man movie came out last year. Maybe it did. Well, okay. Well, who's the first actor?
You wanted me to give away the first actor already?
Yes.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay. So I guess they must have made another Doctor Strange.
Yeah, the second Doctor Strange did come out For sure.
I probably
called,
saw it.
Doctor
I definitely saw
Doctor
that.
Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yep, definitely saw that.
Okay, 1 for 1. Second movie, it made a little bit less, 66 million over 4 weeks. It's a Universal film. It's an animated action adventure crime comedy family movie. Sam Rockwell is the first actor.
Sam Rockwell. Okay, what's the tagline?
Good is no fun at all.
Good is no fun at all.
Wasn't Sam Rockwell like an animated dog or something?
I'm trying to think what he could have been. It's so hard when you get the actors for an animated movie. It's like, it doesn't really help me that much.
Mark Maron is the second actor. Aquafina is the third actor. Aquafina.
A Universal animated movie with Sam Rockwell from last year.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm going to reveal all hints.
Okay.
It's about a crew of criminal animals are finally caught after years of heists, and being the world's most wanted villain, Mr. Wolf brokers a deal to save them all from prison.
I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither. It's called The Bad Guys.
Okay. Never heard of it.
You know, apparently not a bad movie.
I guess so.
Sad about our record. Okay, so this is the next biggest one. Paramount Pictures film, $175 million over 6 weeks.
Okay.
It's an action adventure family comedy starring James Marsden. Oh my God, Jury Duty's coming all back around here.
I don't even know who James Marsden is.
I will tell you that this is probably a Sonic movie. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess they came out with...
he's in Sonic.
Okay, so it's probably the second Sonic movie.
What's that called? Sonic the Hedgehog 2, maybe?
I guess so.
It is correct. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Wow, Jury Duty. Shout out. That helped me.
Shout out Jury Duty.
In Jury Duty, he's like, oh yeah, I'm in Sonic. And then the guy doesn't recognize him. So I'll think, wow. Good guess. Okay, so this one will be a little bit harder. Number 4, a Universal film, again.
Mm-hmm.
3.8 million in its first week, and it is in the first week.
Oh,
It's
boy.
a science fiction thriller horror movie.
Oh, boy.
The first actor is somebody I've never heard of before.
That's a good sign. What's their name?
Ryan Kira Armstrong. But second actor is Zac Efron.
Zac Efron. What was he doing?
In a science fiction.
What's the
tagline?
tagline?
Is never play with fire.
Oh, man. I have no stinking idea.
The plot is, for more than a decade, parents Andy and Vicky have been on the run, desperate to hide their daughter Charlie from a shadowy federal agency that wants to harness her unprecedented gift for creating fire into a weapon of mass destruction. Andy has taught Charlie how to diffuse her power, which is triggered by anger or pain. But as Charlie turns 11, the fire becomes harder and harder to control. After an incident reveals the family's location, a mysterious operative is deployed to hunt down the family and seize Charlie once and for all. Charlie has other plans.
Did they remake Firestarter or something?
It is Firestarter, yeah.
Okay. I did not know they remade that movie. They probably didn't need to. Obviously, it didn't go well for them.
It ended up making $9 million on a $12 million budget.
Brilliant.
Okay, so clearly new movies aren't good for us. There's one more.
We're doing fine.
It's an
We're doing fine.
It's an okay. It's an A24 movie.
Okay.
It's made 47 million in 8 weeks.
Okay.
Action, adventure, science fiction. Starring Michelle Yeoh.
Right. So we know what that is. We
You gotta
watched it.
say it.
We
You gotta
watched
say
it. We watched it.
She's been in a lot of movies.
Not any other A24 movies.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is the correct answer. This was our highest score. We got 470 points. We're in the
Nice.
30th percentile.
Okay.
So good job.
We did it. We didn't. Unfortunately, we didn't get the movie that no one's heard of. But other than that,
Yeah. Well,
all right.
good movie. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Well, maybe, that was filmed here.
Right. I'm in that movie.
Well, so back to Crash. The film received 6 Academy Award nominations and won 3: Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Film Editing.
Yeah. I can't wait to watch it again.
But it's on Netflix, so that helps.
So good the first time.
A lot to talk about.
Hey, Josh, you used to work at BC Ferries, right?
Yeah.
How long can you park in the long-term parking there? As long as you want?
Yeah.
Sounds like you're Googling it as if you don't know.
Well, you can park in it it's long term as long as you just keep adding time to it.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
Like, I don't know. I don't think there will be a limit. Like, as long as you have as long as it's paid for.
Okay.
It is run by Robbins, though. So whenever we got a phone call being like, "Oh, I got a ticket," I'm like, "Well, you gotta call Robbins Parking. It's nothing to do with us. Sorry."
Right.
Okay, let's see. Parking. There's 73% available at the parking right now. So that's cool.
Okay.
You can pay via the Honk app or pay by phone, but you need to know your license plate number.
Mm-hmm.
Long term. So for long term, basically, it's you pay $14 a day, and then $7 for each additional 12-hour period after the first 24 hours. So it's $14 a day, basically.
Okay.
Do you need a ride to the airport or to the ferry terminal?
No, that's okay.
I mean, what's Mackenzie doing? Why can't she drive you?
She doesn't have a license.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you let me know if you need a ride. What day of the week is your flight?
I'm not flying. I'm taking a ferry. It's Friday.
Why do I keep saying that? Sorry, you are. Well, I mean, you're eventually flying.
Yes.
It's a Friday. Okay.
Yep.
Like early in the morning. You're leaving early in the morning.
Yep.
Taking the 7 a.m. ferry.
Yep.
Okay. Well, if you want to ride, you let me know, bud. Be happy to do it for you.
That sounds like a big ask.
I mean, it's not like I'm helping you move.
I guess so.
I see your car is still sitting there.
It sure is. I have been very lazy about getting that done. I might just end up recycling it.
Recycling a car?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you take it to the shit. I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. Ooh, that'd be a good movie.
That's my favorite movie. I don't know, man.
And you said you're going for how long?
A weekend.
You're gone for I thought you're leaving like this Friday.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about when you fly to Samoa.
Yeah. I knew what you meant, and I was just kind of like, it would just be easier for me to say yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, if you were parking your car at the terminal for that long, that would be expensive. But if you're just going for the weekend, I mean, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Well, let me know.
Okay. I'll let you
Or
know.
don't let me know. Either way.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Happy birthday episode.
Thank you very
This
much.
this one was good. Did you get my card or no?
I did not get your card. It's probably because you didn't send one.
What's the unit number? Sorry, maybe don't say that. Because we don't want Ben or Greg knowing where you live.
Oh, certainly not Greg. I don't trust him. He knows what he would do.
But I might have just got that mixed up. It might have been like maybe you're on the fourth floor and I put you on the third floor or something. It's I'll have a talk with my people at the mailbox. You have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. Thank you so much once again for hanging out and talking about a bad movie.
Thank you very much as well, Josh. I wish you all the good tidings that God can deliver.
If there's one piece of advice that I can give you as you enter your 31st year, it's don't eat 2 Costco hot dogs and then stuff your face with Costco fries because you're going to feel it afterwards because you're not a young man anymore. You're 31.
Yeah, you got a little tummy ache.
These are consequences now.
You got to live with your hot dog consequences.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're not going to hit an hour this time. But that's okay.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Nobody's the boss of us.
Nobody. And that's all she wrote.